Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Sports Report After Dark. I am your host, Seven. Dan will be with in just a second. Really quick, though, I did want to say a special thank you to our sponsor, Gunslinger Soaps. Gunslinger Soap has handmade soaps and beard products made without all the junk to pamper your skin. You can go to their website, gunslingersoap.com, and sign up to get 15% off of your first order and always free shipping over $30. That's gunslingersoap.com. Let me bring in my co-host, the fabulous, the not allowed within 500 feet of any school, church, or rehab center. Dan the Dick Werner is with me this evening.
He means I sell drugs, and he is correct.
Oh man,
I only sell the psychedelic natural kind, though.
The psychedelic natural kind, sure. I didn't realize that speed was a psychedelic natural drug, but hey, you learn something new every day. I think that's an important thing that everybody should do.
Hitler gave it to his soldiers, so I mean, honestly, I just thought he was a pretty sensible guy.
God damn it!
He seemed like
we're not even 60 seconds into actually talking, and you have already said something that will get us canceled. So that's par for the course, actually. So it's par for the course. So tonight I wanted to talk about the unwritten rules of baseball because it's never really been something that's been driven in. Based on my research, there are 30 unwritten rules of baseball, but I wanted to. The reason we're going to talk about this is there was a thing over the weekend.
That thing.
Hansel Robles hit a bomb off of Madison Bumgarner in their loss to the Diamondbacks.
Could you call it a bomb? It was a bomb.
It was a bomb. Yeah, it was a solid shot. And he stopped to admire it for a second before he went around. And Mad Bum in his post-game presser called it a low class move, was speaking out against it. You shouldn't do that. Called him a clown. Next day, there was pictures of Robles sitting in the dugout with a clown nose on. Which I like it. I think it's funny. But the reason is standing there and admiring a home run is one of the 30 that I've found unwritten rules of baseball that you're not supposed to do. So I figured it would be interesting to discuss these because I'm a firm believer that for the most part, we don't really need to worry too much about these. And simply because there are so many people that focus so hardcore on the unwritten rules of baseball that it really does detract from the game. Case in point, last year, my issues with Tony La Russa, the swinging on a 3-0 pitch is one of the unwritten rules we'll talk about. And so I think it's just talk about them, break them all down for what they're supposed to be. So we'll go to 30 to number 1. Pitchers don't field pops. Pitchers aren't always the most athletic, so somebody else can get it. Somebody else should get it. What do you think?
That's a within your team thing, though, right? Like that's just like they just don't want you to do it because there's fielders there to do it. Like that makes more sense. It makes more sense within the game.
And you know how easy it is to roll your ankle running off of that mound to try and field that. When it's a lot easier for, short, third, second, first, whoever to come in and grab that, depending on where it's at. I can see that. Honestly.
I would call that strategy, not unwritten rules, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Weird one to start on, but yes.
The center fielder calls off the other outfielder. So yes, your center fielder is your outfield captain. And if they say they've got it, you back off.
Always has the best angle to the ball.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but it's Aaron Judge is a center fielder for the Yankees. If Aaron Judge said he's got it, just let Aaron Judge do what he's got to do.
I mean, if Andrew Jones in his prime for the Braves would have called somebody off, they went away. Like,
yeah.
He knew that he was going to get to it. You're good. Like those guys can run center field. I mean, they're very athletic guys. They know how to read the ball the best. That's why they play center field, because it can go anywhere instead of just, one direction. They don't have a foul line to defend.
Right.
So
yeah. Shortstop calls off other infielders on infield pops.
I mean, if it's in the middle,
This one is weird to me. Like, and I've known about this. I played some short when I wasn't behind the plate when I played baseball, and so like for me, like I kind of get it. There should be a chain of command, but I would say it's so hard to police. That's why some of these they don't. There's some of these that just confuse me because like really, how often is that legitimately a problem? Like most of the time, somebody's in position first, and that's who gets it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's such like a little league rule though too, because I played short when I was in little league too, and like third.
Right.
Like, I played short and third, and like it was literally like you just put the shortstop was just the best player, right? Like I wasn't even a good baseball player. I was just like the best athlete on the, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like I was good at baseball. It was just like I was like probably the biggest kid or whatever. And like so, yeah.
And it's going to be even, especially with the fact that they're going to be changing roles on the shift. Your second baseman is going to have to be a lot more athletic now too.
Right.
Which it's one of the benefits of Boston having Trevor Story at second is because he is so athletic because he was a shortstop when he was with Colorado. So it's yeah. And so I can kind of understand it, but at the same time, it's like I don't really see how that's that much of a problem.
Right. And if you think about it, the only difference between playing second base and shortstop is the throw. There's just no throw. There's just no throws from deep in the hole. You know what I'm saying? Like there is, but even when a second baseman is ranging all the way past, if a ball's hit up the middle, even when they're ranging, that's not as long a throw as if you're going deep in the hole at shortstop. You know what I'm saying? So like basically arm strength is really the only issue, like the only thing that's different there. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're going to be reacting more to one direction than the other. But if you can go both directions like a shortstop can, then second base is basically, it's just like a down, like you just don't have to make as long a throw ever.
Right.
So that's, I mean, yeah.
That's really the difference.
But not that, but people are like, oh, shortstop's so much better than second baseman. Not in the pros, bro. They're pretty fucking good. I'm pretty sure most of those second basemen could fucking play shortstop for a whole game and be fine. Like they'll make the throws, Chuck Knobloch couldn't, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Aiming it like a dart. That's a mental block.
Let's see. Don't make the first or third out at third base. And this is specifically for base runners. If because if you should not be getting the first out of the inning running to third base. You should not get the last out of the inning running to third base.
Yeah, that means you're being extra. You're being extra and not
mindful.
When people are extra and they succeed, they're spectacular. But when they are extra and they don't, they are goats. Like not bad goat.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with it is, and this is another one that I feel like is more strategy than anything.
I think they've all kind of been so far. I don't think they're. Yeah, I get what we'll get to an unwritten rule here.
So take until you get a strike down late in the game.
Down late?
So like if you're down like 3 or 4 runs late in the game, take your pitcher, take it until you have a strike.
I like
Don't swing until you got your first strike. I can understand for a simple thing like not wanting to like swinging out of your shoes from the beginning. But at the same time, and risk having to change pitchers because they're starting to come back and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that can go along with it. And I do kind of get that to a point. But at the same time, when I'm up at the plate,
it's if you get your first pitch, take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
But it's about strategy because you should not be walking up to the plate deciding that you're going to swing before you see what the pitch is. You should be reading each pitch as it is. I don't like hitters that just swing on the first pitch. No. What are you swinging?
Dumb.
It is dumb. I don't like it.
And they're just playing statistics there at that point because most guys do throw first pitch strikes. And for a while there, I don't know if you've noticed this because I've definitely noticed this. Recently, it's come to the part where everybody used to throw a first pitch strike and everybody would take first pitch strikes basically, right? And you were weird
Right.
if you swung at that pitch. And I was like, why is nobody swinging at that first pitch? They're getting down 0-1 almost every at bat because it's almost like a rhythm thing. Like you're just like, all right, first pitch out of the way, right? And then like they would just take them. Dudes aren't doing that anymore. Like there's no like that doesn't happen anymore. Like so guys are so a lot of pitches now are first pitch balls. So it's almost like it's going so they're taking but they're balls, and that's creating more offense as well because now it's 1-0 instead of 0-1, which is a huge difference. I just noticed that.
And when you start to look at, especially because of the analytics side of not just baseball but any game, but when you look at the analytics side, if you can get a first pitch ball as a hitter, if that first pitch is a ball, your batting average increases dramatically,
hundreds of points, right? I mean,
it's a huge impact because now the pitcher has to try and work on getting you back into the count. And, you can try to use some breaking balls to move in and out of the zone, but realistically, you're going to have to put something at least close to the zone that, hey, maybe it's an ump that's got a wider zone or a taller zone or whatever. And you end up you end up getting that strike call. But if, the closer it gets to the zone, better chance you're going to hit. So
exactly. And as a batter, you're just stacking the deck for yourself at that point. Like you're just basically going, he's going to have to come back in at some point. So like now I can just kind of guess when he's going to come back because I think it is a lot of guessing, like outside of the very ridiculously good hitters like Rose and Gwynn and all those guys, like those guys could take every single pitch for what it was. Right. But like, dude, there's a lot of guys. Most
guys can't. Right.
No, they're going up there. And like a lot of it is just like guessing and rhythm and like Joey Gallo is a perfect example. Watch a Joey Gallo at bat. This dude is guessing the whole time. Like if he gets a fastball down the middle and he guesses it right, it's gone. But if he gets anything other than right down the middle fastball, if he's guessing it, he swings and misses. That's what it is. And he can also guess really well, like if they're going to throw a ball or not, because he takes a lot of walks. But he's up there just guessing, and that's bad. That's really bad. Like you can't just be up there like every pitch is like a fucking, roller coaster because you're like, oh, I don't know where this was coming. And like, I know what that's like because I was a terrible hitter. So like, I'm going up there, honestly, I'm going up there with the mindset. I'm hitting like cleanup and shit. They think I'm good and stuff because I hit like one home run because I guessed and got a hold of it. And like I'm going up there like, I fucking just wish this dude would walk me for real. And I'd get down 0-2. He throw 2 strikes. I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm fucked. Like I'll swing at anything at that point. I'm just trying to protect the plate. I'm trying to protect the plate, so I'm swinging at
even if you're fouling it off. You're what you're willing to swing at the range expands in that 0-2 situation. So yeah, I get that. Okay.
Side note, Tony, on MLB 9 Innings, the video game, I always wait until I have 2 strikes. So I'll go all the way through. Like because you can hit it every time. You know what I'm saying? Like I can hit pretty much every pitch on there, at least a little bit. Like I don't ever strike out hardly.
Right.
So I can just wait till 0-2 or you get walked. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I play it. Cause like, I don't know, why would I not want to be 0-2? Like if I swing at the first pitch every time, I'm fucked. I don't usually do that well.
Cause if you don't wait it out, you end up getting a lot more flies and ground balls. I've seen
tons. Yes. So like it knows, like if you get deep in a count, you usually get more hits because that's it's kind of real. It's realistic. Yeah. Great game, by the way. We're just doing
fantastic mobile game.
Free promo. Promo B9 Innings.
Okay. Don't throw the bat at the catcher or the umpire on your backswing. That's just about don't let go of your bat. Don't hold on to it.
That's what pine tar's for.
Yeah.
And batting gloves.
And batting gloves, yeah. If you look like an amateur when it happens.
Tony, what is the thing? I've never looked at this. What is the fucking thumb thing? The thumb circle that all the guys wear. Do you know what I'm talking about? I know Gleyber Torres wears one. A lot of guys wear one. I think it's supposed to just keep your thumb like away from the handle of the bat. Apparently, do you know what I'm talking about? It's like that little plastic piece that they all wear around their thumb. What is that all about? Do you know? Is that for your hands? Like that's for if you're too much of like an arm swinger. Like if you're coming through like this and you don't use your hands at all. You know, if you're like a lumberjack, that it keeps your thumb away from the barrel so that you almost have to use your hands. Right? That's basically what it is. It's forcing you to use your hands instead of just like
it's just about hand usage in your swing.
Right.
Because and it's fixing follow through and then retaining it. And some guys use those, the entire time.
But they don't just
it just works.
They use them during their at bat. It used to just be like when they were warming up, they just and they pop the thing off and then they take their thumb thing off. But now a lot of guys just wear it during the at bat, which is interesting to me because I get it now. I'm like, oh, so you don't so you're not just
about control.
Yeah, you're not just lumberjacking it. You need your hands. Obviously, you hit with your hands. You need your hands to guide and touch the ball.
Right.
I get it.
It's just about control of the bat more than anything else. Okay, never intentionally try to distract a fielder from catching a pop-up. I get why this is a rule, but go watch a high school game.
Bullshit. Yeah, it's bullshit. like if you can't take a little bit of pressure while you're be focused on the fly out. There's nothing if they're not in your face, like if they can't run in front of you and like yell at your face while you're about to catch it. That's about the only thing that you shouldn't be allowed. Like if they're behind, like A-Rod when he was behind him and yelled ball or like I got it or whatever, and the dude just let it go. Why are you letting that ball go? Wasn't it like David Wright or something? Why are you letting that ball go, David Wright? You fucking idiot! Like just catch the ball. You clearly know that your shortstop's just going to cut you off when you clearly have called a pop fly. Like you've called it. Like come on, dude. Like you just gave him the yips. That's all that was. You just gave David Wright the yips, which is hilarious. Well, the people got on him like a motherfucker over there. Like, he shouldn't have to do that. He's Alex Rodriguez. I'm like, he can do that because he's fucking Alex Rodriguez, dude.
Exactly.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay. And then no slapping the ball out of a fielder's glove.
Yeah, I think that should, I mean... Like
shockingly, A-Rod broke this one as well in the playoffs when he karate chopped Boston Red Sox pitcher Bronson Arroyo's glove. Oh, I remember that.
Was it on like what was it? Like was it on? He was going home or something.
And I have to see if I can find a video of it. Share it in the After Dark group.
I think it's illegal now, isn't it? You can't. Just
but that's the thing is you can't try to interfere with the catch as like a runner, fielder trying to catch it. You can't interfere physically. But if you're like, hey, fucking with them, there's nothing the umps can do because at an MLB game, the fans are yelling right there too. You get one loud guy in one of the front rows that's near it. Hey, I got it. I mean, it's the same goddamn thing.
The same, yeah, and it is. Other than the fact that the guy's right, the guy's on the field, right? Like, so I get why it could be. I get why it could be, dude. I watched a guy, not kid you not, Little League. Watched a dude. There was a kid like going up like an idiot, like trying to tag him, right? Like he was like going to second, and the guy had him just beat, right? And he was like going up to him like this with like his glove open to try and go tag him, and the kid went like this and just popped it out of the glove real fast. Literally just like put his hand inside the glove and threw it backward and got to second base. And I was like, that shit is awesome. Like that's just stud. Like don't call him out. Like you can't go up to a guy trying to tag him like this. I think that should be, legal.
You've got to actually make the tag. I mean,
yeah, if you're leaving it open though, like why do you not have it? I mean, obviously the kid was like 6.
Part of what a legal tag is in baseball is you make contact and the ball does not come out of the glove.
Right. So if you're leaving it exposed,
because contact, like if a player's sliding or running through stuff like that, contact can knock it loose, and if it knocks it loose, it's not an out.
Right.
And so me personally, like I mean something like that, like I get exactly why that happened, but you're not going to see a pro MLB player, Gleyber Torres isn't going to be walking up with a player like
just leaving it open, like, hey, I got it in here. I got it. And you're not going to see the dude. The dude's going to turn around and run the other direction, right? Like this guy just like went up to him, was like faked him out, and was like, hey, and just touched out of his glove. And I was like, that's awesome. I was like, that's amazing. Like that's awesome. And because the kid went up to him like this, and he was like, all right, well, get the ball.
I mean, that makes sense.
In the actual eventuality of the rule, though, you would just have everybody just attacking the glove. Like everybody would just attack it, like just be trying to just smack it the whole time. Like it would be ridiculous.
But I mean, like they'll come into base and they'll be messing with each other, and you'll see it on plays all the time. Where like go for a tag, miss it, and be like, I'd be like, hitting him with it, and he'll be swatting the glove away.
Right.
Like it shit happens all the time.
Right. But but like you should never like imagine when you had it in the web of your glove shut, and a glove that you actually used all the time. Good luck getting that thing out of there. If you have it webbed and you have it stuck shut, like there's nobody's going to be able to get it out of there just by like hitting. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't just go up and slap it.
And that's why you should have the. That's what I was saying. Like for that kid, like he should have had the glove closed. You should have been just doing the tag,
right? And he's Glaber's gonna go open with it open.
Okay.
He would. We should DH that guy. No, he's doing a good job. He's doing a good job at second.
Don't step on the chalk line.
That's weird superstitious shit. That doesn't mean anything.
It is, but also I think part of it might be, especially because they're on the baseline, and they need to be able to see that for foul balls.
For the actual umpire, because that might skip there.
Right. And that's why, and so that's why I understand it. But like at the same time, like I'm not looking down at where the line is when I'm trying to run the bases. I'm just going. But most players, it's a wide enough of an arc that you're not on the line.
Right. And I don't think it's as much for base runners down first base and third base as it is for pitchers and fielders coming off the field. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And like sense.
I don't think any of them touch it. I think it became a superstitious thing because it is an actual like game upkeep thing.
Right.
It's almost like don't step in a line of somebody's putt in golf.
Right.
Because, is it going to ruin the putt? Probably not, but you could put a big enough cleat mark in it that it bounces a little bit and goes the wrong direction. Right. So,
never cross the pitcher's mound.
Like go over top of it while you're coming off the field.
Yeah. Go like on or off the field. Don't cross the pitcher's mound. I kind of get it. Honestly,
because they have their marks and shit.
They have their marks and shit, and pitchers are. And if you've never played baseball in an organized sense, like a lot of pitchers get very peculiar about the way that the mound is like worked in and stuff like that, and the marks in it and stuff like that. And you don't want to mess any of that up. So I think that's more about just because you don't want the pitchers to have to feel like they have to work that back in. It's a game time thing. So I do kind of get that one.
Well, think about it, Tony. I mean, you've played darts before, right?
Right.
Okay, so I got real big into darts like a year ago, and that's just a repetitive motion, like pitching, right? So like it's the same motion. You're trying to do the same thing, kind of, and like obviously pitching is different, it's more intricate, but like you're trying to do the same motion every single time, and you will get real weird about where you stand, how you stand, like your form and everything becomes like a super, almost obsessive compulsive type thing. You know what I'm saying?
It has to be.
It has to be because you're trying to like do the same thing every time. And like, especially if you throw well, like you throw a good inning, that guy's trying to come back out there and feel the same things he felt before that. So like if you step over the pitcher's mound, then you're getting, you might fuck with his little groove that he's got cut in the back of the, that he's tapping his back of his thing out. Cause that's honestly a thing. Like you just can't mess with that and then expect them to not think it's weird. And then that messes with their head and,
anything, and pitchers are a very eclectic breed, especially when you're going through a good situation like a low hit or no hit game. When somebody's dialed in, if you anything that fucks with that mojo can have a devastating effect on that pitcher.
Especially according to their mental strength or their mental fortitude. You know what I'm saying? Like if a guy's not real. If a guy's kind of aloof and he can get distracted easily, not a good way to do him. Don't step on his marks. He's got a little chalk 7 out there. Got a little chalk in 7 just to remind him that 7 clicks of his back foot. They do. It's impossible not to do. It's impossible not to do.
Next one is don't peek at the catcher to steal signs, and this one's really going to be fading out just because of pitch calm, because everybody uses pitch calm now pretty much. And I think that pitch calm is amazing. I think that there are ways that you could expand it.
And improve it.
and improve it. But I think that pitch call, I think it's great because you don't have to worry about it. But when you do have a situation where it's not working, maybe somebody, some of these pitchers just don't like to use it. Then you get this situation where you have, batters up there. And like, honestly, you should be watching what the pitcher's doing when they're going through their process, because they're if you pay attention to what the pitcher is doing, eventually you may be able to figure out just by something different they do in the process for each pitch what they're throwing before they go through their delivery, so that it's easier to have that extra half second or whatever to prepare for that pitch.
Right.
And so you shouldn't be looking down and back anyway.
No. Why are you trying to figure out from that? Because did you watch the All-Star game, obviously, right? So,
right.
Did you watch? I loved the Trevino, Nasty Nestor Cortez, the whole sequence between those two.
Oh, yeah, the fact that they were on microphones. Oh, that was amazing.
Yes, that was amazing.
Fantastic.
Right? Dude, I did not know that it was that like fucking haphazard. Like Nestor's literally up there going, like he is right before it, he's going, all right, I'm going fastball. He's like, let's go heater out and up. And like that's all they do. Like they're not even like, it's just like he'll just pitch. He's just into his motion, like right after he says it. And Trevino can just hear him and just knows where it's coming at. And like it was super like not as organized as I thought it was. Like they're kind of just going, I mean,
yeah, I can tell you as a catcher, like when I'm calling pitches like fastball up in, like that's what I'm calling. And then I know it's going to be up, it's going to be in. I'm hoping it's going to be, and as you get relationships with pitchers, like you may start to understand, okay, if I say a fastball up and in, it's going to be in this general area. And that's why you're able to get your glove in a position. And that's why the relationship between the catcher and the pitcher is so important, because when your catcher knows where the ball is going, it's easier for them to frame those pitches that are on the edges of the strike zone.
Right.
But yeah, that's really always all it's been. Because and like when you would see like, obviously this isn't going to be a thing as much with PitchCom, but when you would see situations where they had a runner on second, and so they were changing the signals. Right. What they were doing is they're figuring out a pattern where the catcher's throwing up three signs. What they're changing in that thing where they would change on the card, like which code they're going to, is which sign is the pitch he's actually throwing. And then once he accepts it, then he tells them where it's going.
Right. And on the actual subject, back to the subject, like the reason I mentioned that is because at some point in the next inning, Trevino's still mic'd up for the next inning. He got the hit while he was mic'd up, right? And he turns around and it's who was the catcher? It was Tyler, the Braves.
Tyler
you know what I'm talking about? No, Tyler. God damn it! It's a real.
Yeah, I know you're talking.
Kind of a weird last name. Look, I want to say LaCastro. It's not right, but because it was LaStella. It was Tyler LaStella, but now it's a new guy. Travis d'Arnaud.
Yeah,
Travis d'Arnaud was the catcher, and literally Trevino. It's like 0-1, and Trevino is like talking to Travis d'Arnaud, and he sees the sign. Clearly, like sees the sign, and he goes, "No, you don't have to change that, Travis. I didn't see it." And like he's messing around. And like so he changes. He watches Travis start to change the sign, and he's like, "No, you don't have to change that. I didn't see it." So like he was talking to him, and I thought that was great because he just sees it like he didn't mean to. Like he was just talking to him, and he saw what pitch they called because he's a catcher. He just picked it up immediately. He was like, "Oh yeah, they're throwing."
Yeah, like he knew what they were doing because
like,
and like to Trevino's credit, like he wasn't trying to watch what they were doing. Like
he was just talking to him. Yeah, he was talking. He was literally telling him congratulations for making the All-Star team because he knows him. And like and during it, Travis was like looking up at him, but he was calling the pitch too. And they decided on it while he was talking to him. And he was like, and then d'Arnaud immediately goes to change it. Like he was like, oh yeah, he saw that. And like immediately starts changing. And he was like, you don't got to change that. I didn't see anything. He was trying to get a fucking beanball, dude. That shit was hilarious. It made me love Trevino, dude. Like it made me love him.
No, and I loved seeing that in the All-Star game because it did a great thing to show, the relationship between a catcher and pitcher and how important it is, because that catcher's job is to keep that pitcher calm.
Yeah, and
that's why you'll see those mound visits, because when a catcher goes out to the mound visit, that pitcher knows what's going on. That catcher's job is going out there. Hey, man, I was wondering, in my fantasy football, should I trade for or my fantasy basketball team? Should I grab just give him a second to catch his breath.
Take him out of the situation for a second. You get stuck sometimes. You get especially in that repetitive. Like we were talking about, like that repetitive thing, like pitching is so repetitive and you need to do the exact same thing and you need to do what you did before because you threw it well before. Like you can get stuck in this cycle where you're like they talk about overthrowing all the time. Like dudes overthrow things because they're trying to oh, I need to do this exact thing. And then it comes through way too early because they're over eager. And it's just good to get them back on a regular level. And Trevino's really good at that. Trevino's really good.
And okay. All right. So let's take a look here. All right. Hustle around the bases after a home run.
Fuck that.
Here's the thing. As long as you don't walk, but if you're celebrating while you're running, go for it, bro. You earned it. Yes. And how hard it is to hit a home run in baseball. Hitting a home run in baseball is one of the hardest things you can do in professional sports as a whole. If you get a home run, you earned it. Celebrate that shit.
Right. Also act like you've been there at the same time. Don't act like everyone is your first fucking major league home run, like taking the ball and shit, like trying to get it from the guy in the crowd. Like act like you've been there, but at the same time, and the guys that act like they've been there more are the guys who've been there more. You ever notice that? Like the dudes who just put their head down and just just shouldering through it. What it was Manny Ramirez used to do that he would dip his shoulder through every base, do that little thing. I loved that. I love that one. And
just cruising around the bases, man.
Yeah, dipping the shoulder.
But that's the thing, and I've liked it. One of the things you see more is with the celebrations. What a lot of guys are doing now is they celebrate once they round third, and all for it. Why not?
As long as they're jogging, as long as they're going 50%. If you're going less than 50%, speed up.
Seriously, and it's not necessarily about it's anything more than let's keep the game going. Come on,
right? It's a hit.
You don't want your pitcher getting cold the same way as they don't want their pitcher getting cold. And we have this mutual agreement that we're not going to dick around too much because we don't want that to be too much of a. The teams don't want there to be too much downtime in baseball because of pitchers and making sure that their arms stay warm for what they want it for.
And obviously that would prevent injuries, but at the same time, I feel like it should take I feel like a home run trot should take about as long as it takes for a dude to double and then stand up at second, when he's got his hand on the base to call timeout and then take all of his shit off, you know what I'm saying? And then go hand it to his first base coach and then go back. That's how long it should take for you to round the bases for a home run. Does that make sense?
Because for most guys, that's about what it is.
Yeah, because the doubles people don't realize the double is way faster than the first part of the home run because the ball doesn't even leave in the time the double does. But those dudes go over and they slide into second base after they just got to throw there and they call time, right? And then they get up, dust themselves off, take their fucking elbow pad off, and then go walk it back to the first base coach. And that's about how long it should take you to get home. Honestly,
that's fair,
right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And because it takes a second. They're always and they got to look to the side, to the dugout and do some kind of weird thing. They always have a sign, the Yankees do this thing now. I don't know what it's about, but it's something about
or the Red Sox will do this one.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I want to know what those are. I want an insider to tell me what that is because dudes who see it probably know what it is. They at least have an idea because they probably say it when they're doing it. But the Yankees one is this thing. It must be taking it chest high, like taking a high fastball, and I don't know what it is, but they always talk about how it's up here or something like that. That's all they do. It's weird. That's weird. Or is somebody short?
Right. Okay. Hustle all the time in general. This is pretty, and I think a lot of this speaks to even if you hit a routine pop out, pop fly, you should still be putting effort into it. Even if it's an infield fly, because you never know if they're going to miss that catch for some reason. You never know what's going to go on, what's going to happen. There are so many different things. A wild throw, if it's just you think it's a routine ground out, no, you should still be running it out because one wild throw, you could be going to second instead of getting out. So, yeah, it may not count as a hit, but you're on second.
Tony, the shitty players like myself, we're hustling all the time because we might not get on base other than some guy just randomly dropping an infield fly. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to get on base here. Like I strike. Like I'm striking out. If I get contact on the ball anywhere, I'm happy with it. And even if it's 100 feet in the air right at the pitcher, I'm happy with it. And if that guy drops it, I'm taking every advantage I can possibly get because I don't get to be on base very much. So
I was a better hitter than I expected when I got down into it. Once I put the work in and I'd been sitting in it, I was a lot better than I expected. I wasn't somebody who was trying to go yard. I was a contact hitter, but I could hit the gap.
I know you were. I've looked up your I've looked up your rec league stats. I've looked up your I know.
My downfall was always the fact that I can't throw for shit.
I do my research. I've researched 324 on base. You slugged 614 in 2004 in the cookies league. In the cookies league, you slugged 604.
Oh, I wish. I wish I was that good.
Couple of short notes. Number one, I got an interview coming for you that you're gonna love.
Oh, really?
This guy named Matt Grewe. He's my family. Peru State College. You know where Peru State's at, right?
Okay, yeah. In
Nebraska. Okay. Peru State College, one of the best players that ever played there. He's on a bunch of their top 10 lists. Great dude. One of my I looked up to him when I was growing up and everything. Uh-huh. He's famously on the front of this. We're going to show it like 18 times because he hates it, I think. He was on the front of a magazine. He was on the front of the magazine when he was like 22 because he was a good NAIA player. It's in Peru State's NAIA, but just straight like brooding, double eye black, like brooding double eye black, lovely picture. And this guy's fucking awesome, dude. You're gonna love him. But like he was a catcher.
Okay, yeah.
He's top 10 on Peru State's like a bunch of all-time lists, average hits. I think he's in homers, doubles. He was a great offensive, like Pudge Rodriguez style.
Oh, there you go. That's a good comp.
And like really good dude. And we're gonna have him on. Really smart guy. We're gonna have him on here. He's already agreed to it.
Good.
So you're gonna love him. Second thing was what we were talking about before. I forgot. We were talking about
hustling, like running out. You gotta, yeah, you should. You absolutely should. Okay. Don't rub the hit by pitch area.
Don't touch it.
Take this one first.
Don't touch it. It's all about toughness. Even fake it until you make it. Shit hurts all the time, but don't let people see that it hurts. All right. There's no fucking what good is it gonna do for you to be like like what is it? It's not gonna do any good. Just take yes or the English version where he's like the English version where he's like bugger. Yeah. Don't
when they were in the African tribe.
Yes, exactly. Yes. No need for all that. No need for all that. Doesn't help touching it.
But here's the thing. For a lot of people, something like that is a reflex. And so now don't be like grabbing at it and dragging ass. Like you got hit by a ball, like unless something happened where you're actually incapacitated.
I think that's what it is.
Just get to the fucking base. Like don't mince around. When you get to first base, you stand there, they'll check you out anyway. Your first base coach is going to check on you. Your coach is probably going to come out and check on you anyway. It's very common that they do. Just go.
That's what. That's. I think that's what they're saying is like reactionary. You're obviously going to grab like getting hit with. I've gotten hit with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball before.
It fucking hurts, man.
It's a. Usually your adrenaline's going enough that it's like, all right, I'll pop. You can pop that off. Like I honestly, it hurt immediately, but like. Outside of that, I was like good, and then obviously it leaves a big ass bruise, and you got
a huge fucking bruise.
I got hit in the shoulder. I got hit a couple of times. I got hit in the shoulder and back of the fucking leg, where the stitches are in the bruise. You can see where the stitches hit. Like those. That's basically what it is. Yeah. So yeah. Hey, and Tony, I was on base, bro. I didn't give a shit. I was on base.
Exactly.
I was on base.
I mean, you take what you can get.
I could run. That's it. I could run the bases. I would have been like Tim LeCastro for the Yankees. Just sub me in when Giancarlo gets to first. So his big ass doesn't have to run on the bases. That's me. I can't get on base, but I'll run the bases. That's fine.
It's okay. Stay away from the batter's box while the pitcher warms up. Yeah, don't fucking distract him. Just let him get ready. You know, he's not over there fucking with you while you're trying to get your warm-up swings in. Just let him get his pitches out.
If you have beef that has been existing with said pitcher, it is fair fucking game. I will fuck with all those motherfuckers all day. But if you don't know, like if you have not, like, it's just like gamesmanship to like not be fucking with people all the time. Like if they fucked with you at any previous point, yes, fuck with them while they're warming up. I don't give a fuck. Throw shit at them. Like as long as you don't get kicked out of the game, but like but yeah, do stuff to them if you guys have beef. But outside of that, yeah, let them alone.
And that's the thing. Like, don't be stupid. Okay. Don't show up the umpire.
Absolutely show up the umpire.
Absolutely. This is one of those rules.
Absolutely.
They are human. They should be called out on their bullshit. If you don't like to be called out on your bullshit, you shouldn't be a professional athlete, or you shouldn't work with professional athletes.
Don't get thrown out of every fucking game because you're arguing with officials, obviously. Like, that's not like the best choice,
don't be stupid,
but definitely give them shit. Give them shit even when they were right about stuff. Like, literally give them shit even if they're like, because you didn't get the right call. Like, because it didn't benefit you. Definitely give them shit still. Like, I'm okay with that. That's just being competitive, dude. I couldn't help it. Like there was no like.
I think there's also a line there because like, the umpires, like, they don't mind a little chatter. Hey, how you doing? Them. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like you have to remember that it's still their judgment that's going to get called, whether those pitches that come your way are balls or strikes. So you do still kind of have to placate them a little bit, because if they make a bad call on a pitch and the next time you walk up to the plate, you walk up with, hey, I hope you got an eye exam since the last time I was up, you're not going to have a good bat, bro. If you get to stay in the game. Like, it's not going to happen.
But at that point, like at the pro point though, there's really nothing that they can do to like give you a disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to call somewhat close to the strike zone. Like, they can't just be up there trying to get you out. Like, they might. Even in like rec leagues and stuff, like, obviously they have to call it as correct as possible. But those pitches that are close, do you want it to be in your favor or the pitcher's favor? Who does that umpire like more? If a dude paints it and the guy frames it good enough, the frame is getting the fucking strike. Instead of you who going up there going, that's all right, bro. You good. Like, maybe the frame doesn't work. So. And that's different with different umpires too, because I know a lot of umpires would back down.
Careful too, because like I'm a person where I talk to myself, and so like I had to be really careful. There was one time I almost got thrown out of the game because he threw a pitch and it was a strike, and he called it a ball, and I said, "Are you fucking serious?" Yeah. And I didn't realize that I said it out loud, and he goes, "Boy, you better watch it."
Yeah.
And he stood up and he warned me, and my coach came out and was like, what's going on? I was like, I'm sorry. I looked at him and said, dude, I swear I have ADHD. I couldn't help it. I apologize. That's not what I meant. And he goes, oh, okay.
Because
and that was it. But my pitcher didn't get as many calls the rest of the game as stuff was on the edge. And so like as a catcher, you have to manage that too.
And Tony, let me tell you from my perspective, like I was more of an ump than I was at the plate at all. Like, I was I umped more games than anything. I played for sure. So like I was behind the plate a lot, and like I loved it. Like I thought it's so fun, dude. It is so fun. Like to get up in behind there and just try and call that the whole time, especially when you have. I was doing like high schoolers. So these kids, half of them don't even know where the fuck it's going. So like they don't, dude. And they throw 90 and they don't know where the fuck
they just don't have any control, right?
Nothing. So like you don't know where this thing is coming. Like, and I didn't get to wear like the whole like padding and everything. I had the pad that I had to hold. You know what I'm saying? I'm wearing mesh shorts and a black polo shirt with a pad and a fucking catcher's mask on. Like, I hope nothing bad can happen from this. I Yeah, I got drilled in the shin like 10 times in one game. I was like, it's ridiculous, but yeah, the shins take a lot of damage, and those are some of those. Like, all right.
You see, I would not get behind a plate without my gear on, even for warm-ups. I refused because I didn't want my legs to take that damage, because as a catcher, when that pitch is wild, like, you're trained to block it down. And so that's why catchers, those leg guards and the shin guards are so important, is because that takes a lot of that force that your bare legs would otherwise take, because it's not like you're worried about them getting hit in the legs with a bat. No, it's the ball that's going to do the damage.
Right. 49 times out of 50, those shin guards and stuff are going to guard, but there's always open spots everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's going to hit like dudes are going to, I mean, I got hit a lot of places and the umps taking off the mask is the weirdest shit ever, because you see like when you get hit in the head hard enough that you see the stars real quick, like it's like a light blast. That's what happens every single time. Like, so you probably have a borderline concussion because you're taking a 90-mile-an-hour fastball just to a kind of a rickety, pad cage. Yeah. And of course these things were, these were like little league ones that have been used for years. So it's
they didn't give a fuck
hilarious.
About you.
No, absolutely not. Paying me $10 a game.
Don't swing at the first pitch if the last two hitters hit a home run. No,
Bullshit.
I'm swinging.
Trip up.
Pitch. Yep.
Go back to back if you can. Go back to back. Get as many at backs as you can.
Here's the thing. It is, as a hitter, it is not my problem if your pitcher has lost his groove. It is not my job to let him get one through. Now, if it's a ball, I'm not going to swing at it. But if I think it's the strike zone, and I can put it into play, guess what? That bat's coming around.
Tony, because if you break it down, he's using you now. Okay, so if you let him just have a beanball strike at first because two other guys hit a home run off him just now, he's using you as an advantage. You're being used in a competitive game for an advantage on the other team. Like, literally, that's you're being a little bitch. For lack of a better term, you're kind of bitching out, and you're actually being the bitch because you're just letting him just throw it down the middle. No, absolutely not. He wants to throw a beanball that's a strike. Absolutely. I'll feast on that too, boy. We're all going to, hey, you better call this a small Italian ship because that one is gondola. That one is fucking gondola.
I like it.
Gondola. What number are we on?
Okay, so we are down to 14, so 13.
I've turned this into a drinking game.
Don't show up your own teammates. Nothing will piss off fielders more than their pitcher getting visibly mad at them for committing an error. Errors happen just like serving up home runs do.
That one's interesting.
I get this to a point, because again, this goes back to the treatment of umpires. Accountability still matters. Now, I'm not gonna like berate and yell at my teammate right there on the field, but I'm gonna run up to him and be like, "Look, you do realize you just fucked that up, right?"
This happened the other day in the Yankees game. Matt Carpenter, who does usually not play right field, he's a utility guy at this point. Usually it's a DH, who's doing fantastic, by the way. No, but
fucking great pickup for the Yankees. Series.
Like, literally historically fantastic.
Yeah,
but at the plate. But he's not a great fielder because he plays everywhere. He doesn't really know what he's doing half the time. And like, he let a ball fall in front of him that should have been, like, he just should have came up on it. He like broke back, and then he came up and it should have got caught. It was Nestor.
He didn't get a very good read on it, is what it was.
No, yeah, and Nestor literally went like this. He turned around and Nestor did this thing. He was like, or no, it wasn't Nestor. It was Domingo Germán is who it was. Yeah. Domingo Germán went like this. He just like reacted to it. He was like, oh, like, and like, that's all he did, real quick. And he didn't like yell at him or anything. He just went, and I get that. That's fine. Like, and the dude. That's
honestly that's one of those things where it's almost a knee jerk reaction.
Like, what the fuck?
I'm less worried about stuff like that then you shouldn't be running over and yelling at your teammate during the game. No, save it
Absolutely
for the dugout.
not.
When you get through the inning, drag them into the clubhouse and slap them across the fucking face if you need to. Like, that's what the clubhouse is for. That shit happens. Don't mince any words on that. Like, that shit happens, but not on the field of play.
We handle this behind closed doors.
Yeah.
You try and humiliate me in front of the rest of the team and in public. We're throwing hands. I'm gonna throw hands with you. If you want to have a real conversation, when we get back in the dugout, motherfucker, we're throwing hands. I'm not even talking to you anymore. If you come out here and trying to fucking humiliate me, I'm throwing hands with you. Like, this is not. We're not even gonna talk about it.
No. And that's just more for team relationships and understanding that you're all brothers, but you keep stuff in house. That's a rule on any team, any sport, any team sport. That's the rule. It stays in house. We will deal with it in the locker room.
If people are fucking up. In my experience, if people are fucking up, they know they're fucking up. You don't need to tell them any further. They're taking it way harder on themselves than you're taking it on them. Okay. So especially when you're on their own team, you don't need to, like, the rest of the other team is probably doing a great job of making sure that those guys know they suck. All right.
Yeah.
So you don't really need to, like, tell them that, because they know that. Your job is to encourage them and trying to get them to be better, because that's an advantage to you as well and your team. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah.
Number 12.
You're right. All right. So number 12. If you're going to intentionally hit somebody, don't hit him in the head. That's self-explanatory. I don't like intentional beanballs anyway, but if you're going to do it, if you throw at somebody's head, you're a piece of shit.
Don't ever throw at somebody's. Don't throw it over, like, about right here. Keep it nipple down. Keep it nipple down.
Really, most of the time, that's what they're aiming for when they're doing that, is they're aiming for right in the side, because there's a lot of meat right there. Try to get it maybe in the side, down into the side of the hip where there's a little bit of padding there, maybe in the thigh, because it's a lot more muscular damage that you're doing there than anything else. And it's a bruise. It'll heal in a week or two. But you should never throw, nothing above chest high.
Absolutely. I think that's like a real piece of shit move. So, because, like, that's beyond even injuring a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's beyond even a team going out and trying to injure somebody. That's going out and, like, you can literally end somebody's fucking life. like you can get hit in the head with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball in the temple and die. Like, there's no doubt about that. It's happened.
Yeah, it can be a very deadly situation. And that's why you shouldn't.
Giancarlo looks all weird, guys. Giancarlo Stanton, because he had to have his face fucking rearranged after he got hit in the face with a fastball.
Go look at the video or the pictures last year. Who was out in the Mets that got hit in the face? Wasn't it Pete Alonso?
Oh God, his face looks fucking weird too now. I didn't even know. I didn't remember that.
There was somebody in the Mets last year. I think it was Pete Alonso. It was him or somebody else that was on the Mets roster last year. Took a 95-mile-an-hour fastball to the face last year. They were out for about a month. And that's the thing. It's fucking dangerous.
And you're messing with the guy's face, dude. Like, you can have a knee surgery and nobody fucking really knows about it. You know, like, got a couple of little scars from a scope or something. You fuck somebody's face up, dude. Like, look at Ben Roethlisberger, who nobody gives a shit about. But look at he hit a fucking car. He hit a car flying off of a fucking crotch rocket. Fucked his face all up. He looked completely different. Doesn't look like the same Ben Roethlisberger. Looks weird as shit.
Doesn't. Yeah.
Still a rapist.
Yeah, still a rapist. Okay. Don't talk to a pitcher who's throwing a no-hitter or a perfect game. Actually, here's the thing. Here's the thing. And I will say this as a catcher in the time that I've worked with a lot of pitchers. There are some that if you start avoiding them, it makes them feel bad. What they want is the dynamic in the dugout to be exactly the same. If everybody's just kind of chilling and doing their own thing, don't fuck with it.
Don't make it weird.
Talking, if between innings everybody's sitting in the dugout and everybody's talking about Game of Thrones, everybody should continue that conversation. Don't change it. Don't fix what ain't broken. Basically, is what the theme is in this rule. But yeah, there are some pitchers. Seriously, if they're in the seventh inning, don't talk to them. If they haven't given up a hit going into the sixth inning, at that point, don't talk to them, because This is when it's getting into the intense part of that potential of throwing a no-hitter and the mental strength that it takes to keep yourself dialed in with that pressure in those situations. But there's a lot of younger pitchers I've seen, and from what I understand, just from people that I've talked to, a lot of the younger pitchers, though, they just want the vibe to continue. Nobody talks about it. Everybody continues what they're doing. That's really the big thing, is don't talk about the fact that you're doing a no-hitter. Just keep the same vibe in the dugout.
That way it doesn't have a definite change in their mind. Like right. when it gets to a point where it's obvious and it has a definite like change in their mind, then it could affect them mentally as like, oh shit. Because that's that oh shit moment. It's like, oh shit, it's the 7th inning and I haven't given up a hit yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it dawns on them, and you don't want it to dawn on them, essentially. Like, they don't want it to dawn on themselves.
It's going to dawn on themselves at some point. But one of the things that you'll see with a lot of pitchers is that, you know, when they talk about throwing, you know, when you interview them and they're throwing, you know, hitter, they're like, I didn't even realize until the 6th or 7th inning that I hadn't given up a hit. It's because they don't think about it. They don't let their mind reside on those things on a regular basis anyway. So that's why, again, it's that continuing the vibe so that they can stay dialed in as they are. Because otherwise, if the more you acknowledge that pressure, the bigger it becomes. But
yes,
that's what it is.
Great way. Hey, okay. Personal, Tony. I mean, we'll just make this, you know, personal. Wii bowling. All right. Wii bowling. I bowled a bunch of 300s. You get to that 10th inning or 10th frame. All right. 10th frame. And you're on the first one. I'm dialed in. I'm making everything else beyond me blurry. All right. I just want it to be blurry and just blurring it out and just doing the same thing, right? Just stroking those strikes with the little, just got a little bit of flip in the wrist. You just got to, and Wii bowling, guys, you have to get all the way to the right side, go to the right and then click it and then curve it right. Okay. So you're over on the right side. You got to click it once and go. And then you just aim that fucker right in between the head pin and your second pin there. And just throw it as kind of straight. Throw it as straight as you can, but get a little bit of curve on it. Just a little bit at the end. 300s all day long.
Wii bowling tips from Dan the Dick Werner, everybody.
You're welcome for the next time you have a Wii bowling tournament.
Rookies are rookies. You know, veterans have earned the right to speak up. Rookies have to shut up. I get this to a point because, you know, they've cut their teeth so they know what they're talking about. But I also think it's a responsibility of anybody to call out something that's not right. Yes,
especially if you have the on-field respect already as a rookie, which a lot of guys have obviously gained. You absolutely, it's dugout to dugout. Do you know what I'm saying? I think
it's the relationship of the team more than any. You're right. It's dugout to dugout. It's the relationship of the team more than anything else.
There ain't a motherfucking rookie walking into Boston's clubhouse right now, honestly, or definitely not to New York's clubhouse right now and saying shit. Not, unless you're what?
But
Ken Griffey Jr.
Right, but here's the thing: in most of those situations, they don't need to.
They wouldn't need to, right?
They wouldn't need to. But if you're on the Pirates,
if you're Jonathan India for the Reds, you talked in the dugout last year.
Yeah,
and in the clubhouse, you were a vocal. I would assume, right? I mean,
absolutely.
He was the best player on the team. Basically.
Bobby Witt Jr. with the Royals
right
he gets
now
to have
talks.
a voice in the clubhouse. Absolutely, but it's one of those things where you have to earn it. I think, and sometimes that amount of work that it takes to earn that voice with the team, and I say this with the team, and a lot of this is self-police with these players, but it takes results in some players. It takes longer than others. Some players, even as veterans, don't really have the ability to have a leg to stand on.
Absolutely. Some of those guys are some of the vets are less welcome to talk than the rookies would be.
Exactly.
I would think at this point, and this is a question for you, Jeremy Pena probably has that. He probably has at least, if he wanted to, he probably doesn't. I would say that he's not a big vocal guy, but if he wanted to, those guys would listen to him.
Yeah,
Jeremy Pena for the Astros, just because.
If Joey Gallo gets traded to the Royals for Benintendi, you better believe that Joey Gallo is not going to have the voice in that locker room that Bobby Witt Jr. does.
Joey Gallo's not going to want, for one, he's not going to want to have that. He's not going to give a shit about that voice. He's just going to give a shit about what he's going to get paid next. But at the same time, but he's going to go out and he's going to sell tickets for them. And that's what, none of these guys are stupid. They see everything that we see plus like 1,000% more. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they see all of that stuff. Like they know. It's just locker room to locker room. It's just who the guys that are in there, and
situation to situation. This we talked about this. Never swing on a 3-0 count if your team's got a big lead. Look,
swing away, Merrill.
If you serve me up a gem, I don't care what the count is. That ball is leaving my bat going the other direction as far away and as quickly as possible.
Or the score of the game. The situation, the count, the score of the game does not fucking matter pitch to pitch. That is how it should be all the time. Everybody should be going 100% all of the time, basically.
There is no rule in professional baseball. There is no mercy rule in professional baseball.
No.
And there shouldn't be. You are professional athletes. Boston Red Sox lost 28-5 the other night.
Stop them. Make them stop you.
Yeah.
Make them stop you.
You have to earn it. You have to earn it.
Make them stop you.
And just the way it works.
In Little League, Sony, obviously, there's mercy rules for a reason. The skills are they're deviated so highly from team to team and from player to player that obviously there's kids out there that have no idea what they're doing. You need mercy rules for literally integrity within the game. Like you need it to like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to let a team beat, because there's teams, Little League games every day where a team could beat somebody to 60-1 and the game would last for like 7 hours and nobody wants to do that. Right. But like in the pros, these guys are good enough that eventually 28-5 is about as bad as you're going to get. It's about as that's like an MLB 9 inning score. That's about as bad as you're going to get. That's right. Seriously as bad as you'll ever see though. Like, yeah, that's bad. Right. But like
it was bad.
It's one fucking game.
Right.
For one, it's one fucking game. They still only lost one game. Did it hurt them a little bit worse than a 1-game loss? If they would have lost 3-2? Yeah, it probably hurt a little more
because they're out. Their bullpen took a beating that game. But here's the thing. But if I'm a team, if I've got a 3-game series against these guys, and especially a division opponent where each game is going to matter a hell of a lot more, you bet your sweet ass that I'm going to get every run out of them I can. I'm going to burn through every pitcher I can, because the lasting effects of riding those guys down and wearing them down to the point where they are broken is beyond just that series.
Absolutely. There's
the
so
more
many
you can throw them off, the more lasting effects it has. It is a game. There's 162 games in the season. You're playing for all of them, not just 3.
Exactly. And another reason why offense has definite advantage in Major League Baseball right now is because residual effect basically only, and I'm not saying this, obviously there's residual effect upon offensive players, but residual effect is only pitchers. There's only residual effect from 1 game on pitchers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, right? Because I mean, if a guy's throw 30 pitches, if a reliever has to throw 30 pitches, he ain't pitching the next game. And if you have multiple guys throwing 30 pitches, you just cleared out their bullpen for the rest of the series. Like they have nobody to go to. They have to play their starter, who might not be on. He has to go 7 innings regardless. So you could just crush him the whole time too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's residual effect. And the batters don't have any residual effect. They go 0 for 6. Who fucking cares? They can go out and go 0 for 6 the next day and have every at bat will be 100% still, because they're at bat. You know, they're not throwing Joey Gallo. Fucking Joey Gallo. Fucking Joey 0 for 2 with 4 walks Gallo. Oh my God.
Okay. Don't steal bases on 3-0 counts. You'll probably know this. Who is somebody that famously broke that rule?
Ricky Henderson? I don't know.
Jordan.
MJ?
Michael Jordan broke that rule back when he played for the White Sox. Or no, was it the White Sox he played for?
Let's tone it down. Michael Jordan never played for the White Sox. He played for the Birmingham Barons of the AA White Sox affiliate. Let's not start. See, you're mything now. This is just, see, even you're in on it. Even you're in on the fucking propaganda bullshit train. Michael Jordan, hey, everybody. PSA. Michael Jordan never played professional baseball. Okay, sorry. Michael Jordan never played in the show. Michael Jordan was never in the show.
He was in the minor leagues professional baseball.
There's been
minor
guys.
League players are still professional baseball players.
They
so
are.
Let's not get that fucked up.
Well, I didn't say, yeah. And he's never played.
He's never into the majors, right?
There has been guys who've made it to the majors and played another sport. Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson. Not going to say they're better athletes, but they might be. I don't
know. There's no crying in baseball. That one's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, don't cry. Try not to cry on the field. That might. It's detrimental to your whole image.
If a pitcher hits your teammate, your pitcher hits one of theirs. No,
I don't think that's.
You should never intentionally throw at another player. Ever.
If you intentionally, yeah, like that's what I'm saying, though. But if it isn't intentional, if it isn't intentional on your guy, and I'm coming out the next inning, and I know that it was intentional, like I know for sure that it was an intentional, I'm throwing it, dude. If it's okay.
I get why it happens. What I'm saying is it shouldn't happen because
the original intentional thing was the actual cause of the problem.
Exactly.
That's just
but the same thing is if Nestor Cortez accidentally hits somebody, why should that Yankees lineup have to worry about getting hit in the game or in the next game as retribution for a fucking accident?
Oh, if it's accidental, yeah. You gotta know it's intentional, and I think that that's the fine line, and that's kind of that gray area thing where you don't know if it is intentional because these guys lose pitches all the time, and you could go back and go, oh well, he crushed him during his career, so he's mad at him or something like that, and that's why, and then that becomes intentional, right? When it could have been completely accidental and the guy didn't mean to do it, but there are times when that it was intentional. Like there's whatever situation there could be, like a guy homers off you twice in the same game, the dude throws at him. Absolutely, I think there should be retaliation. I think there should be retaliation for that. Maybe not the next at bat, but I think there should be retaliation for it. But also, how is okay? So if somebody hits somebody on the Red Sox, why should Rafael Devers get hit? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did Rafael Devers do in this whole thing? Because he's gonna be the one that gets hit. They're gonna hit the best player. They're gonna try and hit him. Well, and how is that his fault? Or is that just the burden that you bear?
Well, it's like when the Yankees were playing the Red Sox, and Garrett Cole faces Rafi Devers, and that first pitch was at his feet because the last time he faced Rafi Devers got 2 home runs off of him.
Right.
I'm sorry, but that is a fucking pussy ass move.
It's
learn to pitch to the fucking player or get your ass beat.
But he brushed him off, didn't he?
It shouldn't happen. Like
look where he threw it at though.
Right at his ankles.
So he knows
it was like right about his knees. It knocked him off of his feet. That's
what happened. Tony, what happened that at bat?
Rafi Devers struck out.
Yes. So if you have to even the playing field, if you're throwing at some guy's fucking calf muscles, like whoop-de-doo, he's going to be able to get out of the way of it. He's not throwing at his head for one. And I don't think he was actually throwing at him. I think he was trying to come in on him. And I think he knew that Rafael Devers was going to get out of the way of it. Regardless, he threw it down and in to where he knew even if Rafael Devers isn't athletic enough to get away from it, which he definitely was, he's going to hit him in the fucking calf.
In the leg, right, in the calf.
Right, and it's going to be like, okay, nothing's going to happen.
Right, but there's too much of a risk. Because
I know what you're saying.
It's too damn chippy, and
Agreed.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I have to agree with it. I have to agree with it. You also got to understand those egos, though, bro.
Right.
You know,
I get
Garrett
where
Cole,
it comes from. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Garrett Cole, who's been a fucking stud this year.
Oh, absolutely. He's recovered quite well
without the spider tack.
Right.
Has been a stud. The only guy that hits him consistently. He had to do something for himself. I think. I don't think that was for anybody else. I think that was for him.
that was a confidence booster for him just to get himself back into it. Yeah.
Did not get called. That pit. Aaron Boone didn't do shit about that. Aaron Boone was like, no, fucking pitch him like we should try and pitch him. And Garrett Cole was like, yeah, fuck that. I'm going down and in. he was like, fuck. He's like, yeah, fuck that. I'm going down and in. It's like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, I'm going down and in. Like, they pay me $300 million. Yeah, I'm going down and in. Like, I don't fucking care what you say, Aaron Boone. Sorry. Oh, let's pitch him out. No, that's worked in the past.
No, but like, and like I said, I get it, but I disagree.
Right.
Okay, never bunt to break up a no-hitter. I think this is a sportsmanship thing. Like, I get it. And like, you see the other day, there's the Yankees fans that were pissed off because the Astros bunted the first two at bats at the beginning of the game.
That should be allowed. I don't think that's bullshit.
But like that doesn't. I mean, you're trying to get on base to start a game. You're throwing a pitcher off to start the game. I completely agree with that strategy. Bunting to break up a no-hitter, though,
situational.
Like if you walked a couple of guys and then somebody comes up and bunts to break up that no-hitter because they're trying to get somebody to third to get him in a scoring position.
Right.
I'm sorry, but I'm not mad at that.
Same situation. If it's 1-0, it's 1-0, bunt to fucking get on base because you got a chance to win the game. I would say literally if you're within 4 runs and you want to bunt to try and get on base and you do it, that's completely acceptable. If it's an 8-0 game in the 9th inning and you bunt because everybody's backed up, that's fucked up. I think that's kind of fucked up. And like,
right.
Just get a hitter.
Sportsmanship and sportsmanship does matter. And that's the thing that I think is important is, there's a lot of people that don't really think about that when it comes to athletes, but we do police ourselves in that sense because, there's a time to celebrate and there's a time to just shut the fuck up about it because it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, it goes both ways because you need to handle your wins and your losses with class. That's one of the things that's a core of being an athlete is you should lose like you've lost before and win like you've won before.
Right. I mean, that's, and I think that's in every athlete's head the whole time for them. That's
one of the early things that they teach you.
It's an own personal, it's like a personal struggle thing too. It's like, I'm so excited that this happened, but at the same time, like I need to keep it within the parameters of the game and of my team because this is not about me. Right. I mean, that's the team sport thing. Like individual sports is completely different. Like you got dudes out there, like what's his name? Fucking, Parker Bone or the bowler? You know what I'm talking about? Oh god damn it, what's his name? It was Pete Weber.
Jimmy Connors.
Pete Weber does the fucking gets the 300 game and does the who do you think you are? I am that kind of shit. Like I love that shit, dude. That's an individual sport, bro. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, Jimmy Connors in tennis.
You don't got a team to worry about. You're an individual sport, bro. That's a whole different thing. We're talking about team sports here. Like you're within a system. Somebody else did something so that you could do that. Right. So it's not all on you. Like, did you do a lot of it? Yes. Did you do all of it? No. Like, so you don't act like you did all of it. Essentially, I guess is the golden rule. Just don't act like you did all of it because you clearly did not. So, that's my take on it. Is this number 1? Are we down to number 1?
Not quite. We're almost there. Don't jinx the no-hitter.
I'm taking a drink every time.
Gripe about this one all the time when someone from the broadcast booth mentions a no-hitter or a perfect game. They're just doing their job. If you are on the field, shut the fuck up. Broadcast fans, it's all fair game.
Yeah, they don't. Those fucking pitchers aren't giving a fuck about fucking Michael K calling a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't give a shit about him saying like, oh, he's got a no hitter into the 7th. Like, it just ruins it. Like some kind of fucking no hitter.
I would also say, yeah. Well, I would also say, like, if broadcasting is doing an interview of the pitcher during the game, like, hey, you've been pretty dialed in, you've been playing really well, what's working for you? Don't mention that it's a no hitter. Just ask your questions.
Yes, and why the fuck are we interviewing players during the game? By the way,
I don't know. I don't hate it, but it's situational.
We like it. We like it because we get to see what's going on during the game, right? If I was a player, dude, I don't know if I'm doing interview. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially if it's like a serious game. Like, I'm not doing a fucking interview. I'm not like listening to some idiot.
I can understand situations where like I know, but like, you know, for the average thing, I think the average viewer it's good for, especially with professional baseball. Like if you had stuff like where for one inning, you know, the first inning, your pitcher and catcher are mic'd up for both sides.
At the beginning
of the game, your pitcher and your catcher for both teams are mic'd up while they're on the field playing the first inning. I think that would be great.
Until I'm giving up fucking 2 runs because I'm talking to you over a goddamn radio. Then yeah,
how many runs did Nestor Cortez give up while he was
none?
Exactly. They're all right.
That's an all-star game though.
But here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. First inning. Because things are a lot lighter. It doesn't start to get as tense. First inning.
Well, for the Red Sox, it does a lot. It gets pretty fucking.
Go fuck yourself. We're not talking about that. Okay.
That's rough, Tony.
And then don't watch it. These last two are kind of connected. Don't watch, admire, or pimp your home runs and no bat flips. Fuck those rules.
Bat flip
to a point.
Don't go fucking Chad Johnson on the whole thing. Don't go over and put a Hall of Fame jacket on and run around the fucking bases. I'd fucking punch you in the head. I'll run from my center field spot and tackle you if you try and fucking pull some shit like that.
Like do your lap around the bases, but if you want to raise your fist up while you're rounding second, you know, do a giddy going from third to home. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, if you want to do some shit like that, like I don't give a fuck. Like you're excited. Great. Like don't make it like obvious though.
You know, and here's the thing, like don't watch or pimp your home runs. Like most guys don't, simply because it's not, I mean, how often do you actually know that it's a home run when it leaves a bat? Like we see it because we see all these highlights. And a lot of times, you know, it'll happen in a national game when it's a big name like Aaron Judge, where when he gets a piece of a ball in a certain spot, you know it's going to leave the yard. That's still an anomaly in baseball, truthfully. Like you've got to be going, because you don't know. A lot of these guys don't know for sure until they get to like first, they're rounding first, like, oh, hey, it went over. Yeah. So you see them from first to second, you know, doing the fist pump, whatever. But like, I remember.
Don't show them up. Don't try and show somebody up and then expect not to get fucked up for real. Like, you know.
But I love bat flips. Fuck yeah.
Love
if
'em.
You realize it when it's right off the bat like that. Oh yeah. Don't flip it. Don't flip it at your opponent. Flip it towards your dugout.
Or don't throw like ridiculously high in the air either. So it's swinging up there. Yeah.
And you know, you're not throwing a second pop fly for the bat boy to catch. But at the same time, if you want to, you know, celebrate it, yeah, you know, when Correa got that home run in the postseason last year, and he was doing it's it's my time thing before they lost. You know, for me though, like if it like it's my time and like popped it up, flipped it up like that when he was going to first, fuck yeah, why not?
Yeah,
it's again and I can get to a point it's situational. Like if you're 10 runs up, don't flip the fucking
don't
bat.
be flipping bats. Just go and fucking do your Manny thing.
But
get that Manny stroke going.
But it's fine. A big moment like that, in a big moment, you hit a jack like that.
It's hard not to.
And that's the thing, is like it's especially when you're such a passionate professional athlete, like that passion just spills out in that moment because it's such a big moment. And we shouldn't be critical of these individuals for celebrating doing something that's truly remarkable, because yes, just like football, just like basketball, baseball is a team sport, but guess what? It was not those other guys that are sitting in the dugout, if I managed to hit the walk-off home run, I was still the one that had to take that at bat. Yes, they deserve recognition for their other pieces and getting us into that situation where my home run was the game-winning run.
But you still hit the home run.
But I still hit the home run. I still get to fucking enjoy it.
Absolutely. And it's going to be hard not to. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, it's going to be hard not to enjoy every second of that, right? I mean, let me have it.
Be reasonable. It's about being reasonable. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Keep it. There's tasteful, like, the guys that are getting crushed in the NBA for they're like a rebound away from a triple double, and the dude who went and you've seen this clip, right? I can't remember who it was now. God damn it! But he went and they inbounded the ball, and he went and bounced it off his own backboard, and it hit the rim on purpose so he could get the 10th rebound for the triple double. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and that's the kind of shit where it's like, really, go fuck yourself.
Dude immediately ran up. I think it was Fred VanVleet ran up and like almost tackled him, like straight. And then obviously the most obvious one ever is fucking T.O. In Dallas goes to the star, right? Goes to the star. That's showing somebody up. Like, you are literally going, hey, my fucking house, motherfucker. And they, like, the first time people see it, they're like, what the fuck just happened? Did he just do that shit? And then dude does it back to him immediately, obviously, naturally, right? T.O. goes to it a second time, then you have issues. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it just would have went boom, boom, they got it out of the way.
It's just like with Juju Smith-Schuster and the logo dancing stuff. Like, don't don't show somebody up like that.
For no particular reason. Yeah. Like, there wasn't any really reason.
Celebrate a big moment and a big win. You earned it.
Right.
But it's outside of that.
Respect opponents, respect the game that you play.
Because you should want your opponents to respect you.
And that's what it's all about. There's a give and take there. And when you're just going out and just doing random shit to just like shit on other people's like Juju, that's Juju Smith-Schuster stuff is like, that's just like randomly shitting on you know what I'm saying? Like, it's every fucking stadium you go to.
And
I will randomly shitting on their stuff.
Like, he didn't realize where he was dancing, and he was actually where, like, in his defense, like with
but he was doing it like over and over though. He was doing like all
right, but like there was that one with like Jackson Mahomes where he danced on Sean Taylor's number at that memorial at the game where they recognized him. They had worked with the Washington football team front office or staff, like, hey, we want to do this on the field before the game. They have access because of the fact that they're connected to Patrick. And they said, this is where you're going to do it. Because they have to, even though, yes, it's Patrick Mahomes' brother and then fiance, now wife, they still have to let the Washington organization still told them, this is where you're going to go do this.
Right.
And so, as much as I can understand from a fan perspective, he should not have disrespected the number, because that is a very special thing, especially for those memorial things like that. But at the same time, he was young. He wasn't really aware of it because he is young. Right. And he went where they told him. That's what he has to do, or he's not going to get the privilege of being able to do that. Yeah,
he didn't know that. It wasn't obvious. It obviously wasn't a knowing personal slight. There was no, like, he wasn't over there like, oh, fuck this Sean Taylor guy. Right. There was none of that going on. Like, that really wasn't happening.
And I could have understand, like, if it was an intentional slight, like, go fuck this guy, but that wasn't. Jackson can be a shithead. He's a young kid that came from money. Every young kid that comes from money can be a little bit of a shithead, even if, some of them a lot more than others.
Yes.
But I don't think it was, there was not an intentional slight there for Sean on Sean Taylor. I don't think anybody really would intentionally do that in those circumstances, like, unless somebody really just fucking hated him. But I don't think really anybody could, because he was such a good guy. So it's. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there were probably people in his personal life who are like, yeah, Sean Taylor, he was a dick, but
got killed in a home robbery.
Yeah, fucking ridiculous,
man. Isn't that crazy? Like, what the fuck?
Okay. All right, so, obviously there are some of these unwritten rules that are here for strategy. There's some of these that are more about, sportsmanship and stuff like that. But do you think that, as a whole, do you think the unwritten rules are hurting baseball?
No. I think a lot of those rules are not really unwritten. I think that those are strategical. I think it's strategical stuff, and some of them aren't. Some of them are within the game. That's just strategy, and then some of them are emotional or mental strategy, which has been going on forever, right? I don't think those are unwritten rules. Like, an unwritten rule to me is the fucking throwing at somebody after they throw at you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so where
there's bat flips and the home run celebration stuff.
Yeah,
and stuff
that's
like that. Right.
Yeah,
right.
that's unwritten.
Yeah, and those are the things that I've always seen as the unwritten rules. But I guess I also say that, and you and I both would say it more from the player perspective, having had that experience. Yes, it was at the lower level. Neither of us were pro, but these unwritten rules and these things, they don't just pop up in Major League Baseball. You're taught them at a young age.
Everywhere in competitive sports, everywhere. I'll give you a quick story, Tony.
There's there's unwritten rules in every competitive sport.
I'll give you a quick story, a quick high school football story. We'll take you back here, 2006. Okay. We're taking you back 2006 here. Okay, we're playing a team out of Lincoln, bigger team than us. Okay, they had an all-state running back, right? His name was Jordan Langer. Shout out Jordan Langer. I have him on Facebook. No, great running back, right? He's gonna be pissed if I tell the story. He ran for a fucking touchdown in the first half, right? And I'm coming up on an angle on him. This dude's fast as fuck. And he looked me in the eyes as he's jumping into the end zone. And in high school, you don't do like, in the NFL, you see all the dudes like they're always doing like dives in the end zone and crazy shit, right? And just like showing up the dude that they're about to get. Like Tyreek does the fucking finger and shit, right?
Yeah.
This motherfucker pulls that on me. He fucking literally looked at me. I saw him. He fucking looked at me and he dove into the end zone, okay, and did like a flip. He did like one of those flips like where you go out and then you like roll your head at the last second. It was cool as fuck. I mean, he flew a long way. Like, he was fucking athletic as shit. And I watched this motherfucker do this, and I just started talking shit to him after he did. I was like, oh, we going now. I was like, this is what we're doing. Motherfucker. Right? And he heard me the whole time, right? And this is a Christian school from Lincoln. This is Lincoln Christian.
Oh God.
Okay? So half gets over, whatever. They're up like 2 touchdowns at half. Okay. He comes out at halftime and apologizes to the referees and to me personally and to our entire team at halftime that he did that. He said he didn't want to show anybody up, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, what the fuck ever, right? I didn't say shit. I was like, all right, whatever. Come back out late third quarter. This motherfucker tried to do that shit again, Tony. I kid you not. He did the same goddamn thing, looked at me, made eye contact with me and everything. And you know what I did?
I hope I didn't lose you. Dan? Is it you or me? What the heck? Just a second if you guys can see us. Okay, so Dan is the one that froze. We lost Dan. Okay, we are going to wrap it up because apparently we've lost Dan. I will. Yep, there he goes. I will. We'll see if we can get the rest of this story next week, right here on the Sports Report After Dark. Thank you for joining us. You can listen to past episodes on Spotify. Thanks to Anchor. Again, don't forget, check out gunslingersoap.com, our sponsor. They have a lot of great products. I actually have their Gunslinger right here, their flagship brand. It's all activated charcoal soap, great for your skin. My wife and I use it. I've been using their soap for years myself. That's why I chose them. But yes, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week right here on the Sports Report After Dark. You guys have a great night. Thank you.